Welcome to Simply Joy by Kristen. I'm Kristen, and I'm so glad you are here. As I lay down the first layer on these pages, I want to share about Debbie. Debbie is from Elsie Lane Art Garage, and she reached out to me to see if I wanted to be a part of her collab of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Art Journal. But before I get there, I want to share why I fell in love with her right away. This was before I had even met her. I saw this suitcase and this girl with bubblegum. It had my heart. Like, I knew that she had a creative soul, and meeting her in person, she was even more. And so when we were chatting away, there's a group of us creators. She shared this dream of having this, and to see her dream come alive. And she's created this playlist with extraordinary creators. I would recommend to go check it out. And what an honor to be a part of Debbie's dream and now a part of this playlist. She even made a journal layout with the girl of the bubblegum. Like, you need to go and see it. It's just too cute. So anyways, back to our layer. This is gesso. I'm just laying just a blank slate just to get it started. So if you are here with me and you have never heard of an art journal, well, let's just see what Google has to say. They call it a visual diary, a creative journal, expressing yourself through art, writing, and other creative mediums rather than just words. It's a place for self-expression and creative exploration with no rules or expectations. It's a journey. It's unique, and it's just for you. It's not for anyone else. Google says that its purpose is a space for self-expression, creative exploration, and personal reflection, allowing you to document your thoughts, feelings, and experiences visually. I would add, it can also be just because, and that you can creatively play. And so in a little bit, I'll share a little bit of where I started, but let's get back to my layout. After layering the gesso, I am now putting on some sewing pattern paper with some liquid patina. I love the shade and the color of this, and I feel like it tones down the stark white. I am adding a few other elements, but mostly they get covered later. And that's the thing when you are building layers and you're creating your layout, you never know where it's exactly going to go. My next layer is stamps. I love the look of stamps. I think that it adds so much dimension, and you'll notice I used a couple different stamps. I used a block one, and then I used a cling stamp, and look at just the added texture that it provides to this layout. Now remember, this is all my background. Like, this is me just playing. This is me just having fun. I had these cardboard circles in my stash, and I pulled them out because they worked great for creating circles that are going to now become my color wheel. I'm just playing. I don't know exactly where it's going to go, so I pull out some oil pastels and I start coloring my first wheel. I am just obsessed with color wheels, and especially after seeing Debbie from DIY Paint. She created this really fun color wheel, and Connie from the Painted Photographer, she created one, I think it was years ago, but those two color wheels have just stuck in the back of my head. And you add just in that I love colors. In my classroom, I used to sort things by rainbow. This just has a special place in my heart, and so I am just enjoying the journey. One of my little colors got a little messier than I wanted it to, so why not blend the rest of them just to kind of make it look cohesive? And one of my favorite blending tools is my finger. I love the feel of doing it myself and just seeing what happens. And then, of course, I had to pull out something else for my next color wheel, and I'm still new to this type of paint. It's gouache, and it's supposed to be like a combination or kind of between a watercolor and acrylic paint. And I am still playing with it and having fun, but you'll see that I created another color wheel. And of course, why not pull out some colored pencils for my third one? So again, I'm just having fun. I'm just creating and just allowing myself just to create with no expectations, no rules. And I love how uniquely different each of these color wheels came out. So I decided I didn't like this element. I felt like it took away from the color wheel. And so what did I do? I took out some gesso and a palette knife and I played. I didn't know it was going to smear the gouache paint, but look at it. I love what it created. I love the look of this because it still allows the color to come through, but it toned it down. You'll notice off to the side, I did create a little bit of a color swatch, and you'll see me work with that a little bit later. But in the meantime, I'm just creating some more texture and more layers by using this stencil. I first started gold and it didn't show very well, and so I switched to black. And I love the contrast that it created with the white gesso and the colors. Like, I felt like it almost gave it something to tether to. Okay, let's create the star of this show. This is the Paper Doll Stencil by Royce from Roycycle Treasures, and it is probably one of my favorite stencils, if not my favorite stencil. I love what you can create with this. I mean, growing up, I loved playing with paper dolls. The fun part, let's create a dress for my paper doll. Let's start with the top of the dress. You'll notice that this is a stamped brown something, right? Well, it is a brown paper bag, so I reuse, right, and stamped, and I love the look, the contrast it creates against my sheet music paper doll. Just like, look at that. That's so spectacular. Now let's work on the bottom of the dress. I want to give her a huge skirt because in my brain I see a color wheel. Now I wasn't sure how I was going to create it, and then I ended up going back to something that I have done for years, and that's collage. And so I pulled out my scraps and I started to create a collage with a color wheel vibe. How I built the collage. In all honesty, I wasn't sure if this would work, but I took about 12 colors, and in each color I had different patterns, and I just tore pieces and was creating the skirt of the dress and worked from the outside in. Then I came across the strawberry is really what set this off. I was like, I want to put a strawberry on there. And so then I'm like, well, what other little images can I add to this skirt as well? And then, of course, I think that this gold splatter really helped it transform from just strips of paper or just a collage to actually having it be one as the dress. Let's finish this layout by adding some of the final touches. First is a charcoal pencil. I did some outlining of different areas, including this paint palette strip I had on the side. I also did it around the dress just to give a little bit more definition. I added a Tim Holtz sticker where you see it says, "Darling, you are a work of art." And of course, I added some black splatter across the pages. And I love how this layout turned out. Fun side note though, I had more dresses that were supposed to go on this layout. And when I went to go put them down, it felt too much and I had to edit it down. So I am going to show you what I did as a second layout. Before I show you my second layout, let's go down memory lane. So this was my very first art journal, and this was my very first layout. I took a art journal class, and this was the layout where we were learning different techniques. And I look at this and I see how far I've come. And why am I showing you this is because an art journal is a journey, and it's unique, and it's just for you. These pages, I had a lot of tears on them because I was going through a season where I was feeling very broken and I was working through healing. And so again, this is uniquely to you. You may have pages where you don't finish them. Like this page is unfinished. I just left it because creating was more important than the final product. Or I have ones where I played with different mediums that I had never decoupaged down, like fabric. Or here I pushed myself to try something that I wasn't sure I could do, and that was paint a sunflower. And let me tell you, in the process, I wasn't happy with it, but I kept going. Or here, I got the paper doll stencil that I used in this layout, but I tried it as a mermaid, and I used doily for a hair, because why not? Or here's a layout that I took from a class by Jean Belanti, who has so much information to share. Or this one. This one was one where I didn't like it, and I set it aside. But I came back to it and I created a new layout on it that I absolutely fell in love with. Speaking of a layout that I didn't like, this one that I am making my second layout, I didn't like this page and I skipped it. But guess what? I'm coming back today and I'm going to give it a second chance. So here we are, the second chance. I took that bottom strip of the skirt and put it on the left. I added sewing paper and I stamped and I stenciled and I splattered and I transformed it into something that I was happier with. A place where these dresses that I created, whether they were inspired by a lemon or I had another one where it was inspired by a mermaid. And I just had fun. I just had fun creating these different dress designs for my paper dolls. And again, this was just creating for fun. It was creative play and just enjoying the process and manipulating things so that it fit with the aesthetic I was going with. And I got lost in it. I got lost in creating because that's part of the journey. The journey isn't necessarily what it's going to look like in the end, but allowing your creative soul to just breathe. I think that's one of the most beautiful things about an art journal, is the healing it can provide, the inspiration, the spark you needed because you got burnt out. Creatively playing is healthy and needed as a creator, as a creative. And so I hope more than anything, as I'm sharing my layouts, that I'm being vulnerable and giving you insight on my journal, is that it will inspire you to create, to be brave, to allow yourself just to go with the flow, whether you love the layout or you don't, whether you finish it or you don't, whether you try something that works or try something that fails. At the end of the day, it's just for you. It's part of your journey. I learned so much in these layouts, things that I'm going to try again because I like the combination of it. And some I realized that I wasn't as much of a fan of, and that's okay too. So again, this is just part of the journey and part of creating. And again, just allowing yourself to play. I thought it would be really fun to go into my collection of items and put together some kits that you can purchase. And so this is the first one. It's the mini kit. And I have items that I used in these layouts, such as the stamped words. So I hand stamped 4 words that go into the kit. I love using the side borders of sheet music because of the beautiful color of paper. So you can use all parts of what you have in various ways. These are the words I chose. Next, I put in playing cards because maybe you're not ready to create a art journal yet, but that doesn't mean you can't start playing on a smaller scale. And so these are called ATCs, and I have done a variety of them. Sometimes I'm practicing drawing or I'm practicing how elements go together, but they are a great way to get started. You know how much I love the paper doll, so I had to include one of them along with the paper bag stamped. It's very faint, but it gives such interest to the paper bag. And remember, you can stamp anything. You can use anything that you want. I mean, that is the cool thing about it being your art journal. It is your unique journey, and you can do whatever you want to do. Another thing that I absolutely love, and I don't think that I showed it as much, is this sketch paper. I love stamping on it because it is not a stark white and it is a lighter material, and it works so well. I go to it all the time. And then of course I had to include some of my stamped sewing pattern. And again, it's so faint, but it adds interest. And you know, I'm all about the layers. I'm all about having fun and trying something new. Okay, let's wrap up this mini kit with a piece of gold splatter sheet music. This is a perfect sample of all kinds of different textures that you can give a try in your art journal. Let's chat about the second kit. It's the folder kit. Everything fits so nicely into this folder. If you want to know, this folder was actually something I just thrifted. I got many folders that have this gold bunny on it, and I knew I just had to get it. And I didn't know that I was going to create kits at the time, but it's a perfect holder for it all. So everything you saw in the mini kit is included in this kit, except mostly on a larger scale, or I put multiples in it. But let's talk about a couple of things that are different. First of all, you're going to get some book images in here, a couple that I just pulled out of a book, some I've cut. You're also going to get a blueprint. You're going to get a map, a coloring page. And again, everything is on a larger scale, and they're all going to vary because because I only have one of each. Now, the cool thing about this larger kit is, again, it is has larger elements, but I'm also going to include a surprise. And the reason I'm calling it a surprise is because I'm going to go into my collection and find something just for you to add to it. I just thought it would be a way that I can encourage and inspire you when you open it up. So if you are interested in either of these kits, you can find more information in the description below. But again, I am so excited to share from my collection, and I hope that it inspires you to creatively play on your unique art journey. Hello, friend, and if you are new, I'm so glad you're here too. Wow. Just so completely honored to be a part of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Art Journal, and this list of creators is just wow, superb. So if you haven't checked them out, make sure that you do. I'm so thankful to Debbie. What an amazing soul she is. I had, the pleasure of meeting her in person and learning from her and hearing her heart and dreams. Just thank you, Debbie, for letting me be a part of one of your dreams. What an honor. Thank you. My heart was to encourage and inspire you as you create in your own art journal, that you see it as a unique journey, that it's just for you. It's your documentation. There's no rules. There's no limits. There's no you have to do this and you have to do that. No, it's meant to be enjoyed. It's meant to be a place to creatively play and to express your emotions and document what you're learning and where you're going and where you've been. And it's just for you. And I think sometimes we get caught up in the comparison. And that was really my heart, was for you to make this uniquely for you. And what did I do? I loved what I created, but as soon as I finished and I saw others, that I was like, almost paralyzed with that comparison. And so I needed to step back and say, no, Kristen, this is yours. You loved it. Creatively playing was so inspiring and so encouraging. And so you have to allow yourself to just be you and not to compare. And I robbed myself there for a second, and I do not want that for you. And I got to do things that were so close and dear to my heart. I love doing collage, and to be able to create that skirt with a collage. And I loved paper dolls and building things with paper. I love tying in the paints with the charcoal, with the pastels, with the gesso. Like, I love color wheels, and I got to play and design. Like, I got to fashion design these outfits and just enjoy it. And it was for no one other than me. And in my hope was, as I did that I would encourage and inspire you. And I hope it did. And if you're not ready to dive into the art journal, you can do it on the mini scale. You can do the ATCs, the artist trading cards, or the alternative trading cards, however you want to say or call it. But just go and creatively play with whatever you want to do. And remember, there's no rules. This is just for you. Until next time.